Okay, Desert Ridge Academy, 6th graders. I'm here. I went home, but I was hearing things say percent proportion. How come you haven't taught me yet? And so I had to make a trip back. Like, I think it's following me. So if I don't make the video, you won't learn it. And wait, I think I hear someone coming. No, it's good. Okay, so stay with me. Okay, so I'm trying to get into the classroom as fast as I can to do the percent proportion. Whew, I left the door open. What's good? So, well, what we've already learned about percent proportions is that, well, you know, percent is always compared to 100. Oh my goodness, it dropped. Are you with me? Okay, you're still with me. All right, so percent proportions. Let me change the screen. Okay, so we gotta learn it quick because heaven forbid you don't know how to solve a finding percent of a number without knowing the percent proportion method. All right, so reviewing what we already know. Percents are compared to, I gotta calm down, 100. And when we look at percents, on the other side of our proportion, we have it compared the part to the whole. So as we noted before, is going to reference, so back to our notes, is going to reference the part. So it's our part. And of is going to tell us that we have the whole number, so the original amount. So when we're setting up our percent proportions, we can treat it like equivalent ratios because indeed they are equal to each other. So you know that lovely skill you learned of how to scale up and scale down, you can use that to help you solve a percent proportion. So step one is to fill in the parts of the proportion that you know. So fill in the parts of the proportion that you're given. Step two is then to either multiply. Well, actually, first you multiply and then you divide. So first you're going to multiply and then you're going to divide. So going back to our first example from before, what is 32% of 50? I know you're saying, I already know it's 16, but I'm going to show you a second way to get it. So I set up my proportion, so I have two ratios that are equal to each other. One of the ratios is my percent ratio, where I have 32, and we know percent is always compared to 100. From there, we have where it says of 50. Now this of 50 means I have the whole. So 50 goes here, and my part, which is missing because the is there, the part is missing, I'm going to call that x. It's a variable to represent that I don't know what this number is. Now to solve, it's simple. You're using what you've learned already. You're scaling up and scaling down. When I look across, I'm like, hey, to scale down from 100 to 50, that means I'm going to divide by 2. So I do the same thing on top to keep it equivalent, and I get my x is equal to 16. So as you can see, it matches up with what we did before. X is equal to 16. So this is just an alternate way to solve. We're going to try it with our next example. We have what is 73% of 40? So to start, we have our percent that's given to us. So it's 73 compared to 100 because percents are always equal to 100 or compared to 100. From there, it's going to be equal to, and then I have to look and see. Well, once again, I have of 40, and this of 40 means that I have the whole. So it goes down here in the denominator, which means I'm solving for the part. What's missing is the part. So I'm going to put my variable, again, x. All right. Now, when we're looking to go from 100 to 40, I know it's kind of hard. Like, we're going to need to make a couple steps, and you most certainly can do that. I also want to review, we had our cross product method. So just to review cross product, for when we solve, when we have two ratios that are equal to each other, like this proportion, if we multiply across, so 73 times 40, that's going to equal x times 100. So 100 times x. Well, we're going to simplify this area over here. So 73 times 40, when you use your calculator, you get 2,920 is equal to 100x. And we're going to learn this in the future, but whenever we have what we call here a one-step equation, so I'm going to put a star by this because this is a preview of coming attractions, some stuff we're going to learn soon. When we have a variable multiplied with a coefficient here, to solve for the variable, so to solve for x basically, all you do is divide by 100. Now again, you have a calculator. So when you're using your calculator, this is easy work. You know, dividing by 100 is just going to take the decimal, which is here, and move it over twice to the left. So you end up with x, your missing number, is 29.20, or 29 and 20 hundredths, just like before. So here's a second way to solve. And then finally, our last example, because I have to teach it to you. What is 128% of 55? Now, we have our percent, so it's 128%, and even though it's more than 100, it's still compared to 100, because percents are always compared to the value of 100. From there, it's going to be equal to, and again, we have this of 50, which means we have the whole, of 550, which means we have the whole 550, which means we're solving for the part once again. And for this one, I'm going to use cross product again, or we can say, what number times times 100 would give us 550. If you knew it was 5.5, then excellent. But if you didn't know what it was, that's okay. That's where cross product comes in. So no shame to our game. We're going to pull out our cross product. So I would do, cross product. There we go. So I'm going to multiply going across. It'd be 128 times 550. That's going to equal, and then 100 times x. 100 times x. Or I can just put 100x. So using my calculator, 128 times 550 would bring me to 70,400. That's equal to 100 times x. And then again, to solve, all I would do would be to divide both sides by 100. So that brings me to my final value. That missing number is x is equal to 704. And that's how you use percent proportion to solve finding the percent of a number. All right, I did my job. I can go home and rest now. You rest too. Bye.